Hi, and welcome to Meetings with Math. We are going to be starting on rational numbers, and we're going to start today with how can I use a number line with rational numbers. You are going to need something to write with, a pen or a pencil. Your Jaguar Jots on page 13. It'll say rational numbers at the top and 2.1 and have that essential question. And as always, your problem solving skills. Okay, when you look at this, it does have a worksheet on it, but I want you to quickly turn your paper sideways and we're going to investigate this number line. I want you to notice that 0 is right here at the center, and that we have 1 and 2 and 3, and then we have fractions in between. So when we're talking about rational numbers, we're talking about numbers that can be written as a fraction. So decimals, 0.5, 0.75, 0.3 repeater, those are all examples of rational numbers. So then you also have your negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, and you can see -1/2 is between 0 and -1. -1.5 is between -1 and -2, because +1.5 is between 1 and 2. So you just reverse it over here. So here's a good example of a number line for you to look at. So let's look at this summary real fast. Just as with integer, blank numbers. So what kind of numbers were we just talking about? We were talking about rational numbers. Increase from 0 and do what? Rational numbers do what? Decrease from 0. Numbers that are absolute value are equally distant from 0. So they're going to follow a lot of the same rules that integers follow. They're just now rational numbers. So that gives us our decimals and our fractions. So let's turn the page and let's look at some of these numbers. Place the following values at appropriate points on the number line below. Label each point with the letter. So -0.9. So right there, -0.9, we know is less than 0 because it's negative. It can't be over here. The question is, what side of the -1 is it on? Well, if we go this way towards the 2, it'd be -1 point something, so it's over here. And if we count the lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are tenths. So that'd be 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10. This is -0 and 9/10. So this right here, this line would be A. All right. +4/10. So now we know it's on this side. We know that these are in tenths, so we just count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 7/10. So we know it has to be past 1, but not bigger than 2. And then we just count our tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tenths, 6, 7 tenths. 1.2, here's our 1. 1/10, 2/10. -1/2. Oh, so we're not in tenths anymore. So let's make this into tenths. We'd have to go by 5/5. So that would be a -5/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/10. -18/10. So we just have to count our tenths. Well, you should know that this is -10/10. You should know that. So you should be able to skip count all the way up to this. You should actually know that this is -20/10 as well. So if you could count backwards, 20, 19, 18, you should be able to do that. So putting things on a number line, the rules still follow. You just have to make sure you're careful on that negative, on which side of the negative you're on, and keep that in mind. So if I have 13, now I think about this as money. If I have 13 cents versus 15 cents, which one do I have more of? This is more. so that it would open this way. Now this is a debt. If I owe you $1.40 or if I owe you $1.80, I owe you more money when I owe you $1.80, right? Which means I'm in worse shape. Which means this here, I have more money when this is happening. Okay? Or I have less money to my name. When you're more in debt, you have less money. So that's how I think about these. This one's tricky. So again, make it into money. That's $5.10 versus $5.15. Which one is more debt? This one's more debt. Okay, when we have problems like these, we need to look at common denominators to make this make sense. Some of us can do these in our heads, but not always. So use common denominators to create equivalent fractions. Then just compare the numerators. Be careful with the negatives. So if I take 1/2 and multiply by 2 over 2, I end up with 2/4. So 2/4 compared to 1/4. Because now I just care about the 2 and the 1. So 2 is greater than 1. Now I just dealt with 1/2 and 1/4. So now I know this is a negative 2/4 compared to a negative 1/4. But now it's negative 2 compared to negative 1. Well, I know negative 2 is less than negative 1. I can come back up here to prove that to you. Negative 2 is less than negative 1. Lots of common denominator mess going on up here. Okay, so let's compare. I need a common denominator of 6. I end up with a negative 4, 6. And a negative 3, 6. Now these are negatives, right? So I'm more in debt if I owe you $4 than $3. Uh-oh. We'll skip that one. We'll come back. Let's look at this one. This is 2/10. This is 1 and 2/10. And 1 and 1/3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3 over 3 and this by 10 over 10. So I end up with 1 and 6/30 and 1 and 10/30. So which one's bigger? This isn't negatives, so 10 compared to 6. So we have to be able to do our decimal conversion really easily too. 1 and 2/10 tells us what to write down. Okay, this one, not so nice. Negative 1 and 2/3. Why did I know I was going to multiply by 5? Because this is 5 over here. I'm just going to take whatever my denominator was and multiply by that. Seriously, that's what I did. I'm not looking for my least common denominator. I'm just looking for the denominator. So sometimes I'm just going to multiply by the other denominator. I'm just making my life easy. So 1 and 10/15 compared to negative 1 and 3 times 3 is 9. Now, these are negatives. So negative 10 versus, why am I not caring about the negative 1? Because it's the same in both sides. So it's just the fraction part I need to worry about. So negative 10 compared to negative 9. Which one's closer to 0? Which one's more on the right? I'm better off if I only owe you $9 than if I owe you $10. So negative 9 is better off. So today we looked at putting rational numbers on a number line. We looked at ordering them and comparing them. And we did a lot of work on finding equivalent fractions in order to do that. That was a lot of work for what seems like just a little bit of an idea. But you did it. What I'd like you to finish doing today is I'd like you to finish D on your own. And thank you for joining us. Remember to be kind to each other because we need a little bit of kindness in our lives. And I will talk with you later. Bye.